Good morning, students. Hope all of you are fine and you have enjoyed your festival of Teej, and also you have enjoyed the assembly that was conducted so nicely by your school, right? So, beta, today's lecture it is also in the continuation of the revision of chapter 2, and name of the chapter is Writing in City Life. So, beta, till now we have discussed the various topics about the Mesopotamia and its geography, then the writing method, then the temples and the kings, and a trading town to a pastoral zone. This was the last topic that we were discussing, and a few topics were left. Those were related to this topic, and this topic was the description of the palace at Mary of King Zimbra. So now we will discuss this topic, beta. The great palace of Mary was the residence of the royal family, and it was as you know, the palaces every time they were the hub of the administration and a place of. Do you know that this palace it was a place of production also, and here the precious metal ornaments were produced. And this palace it was so famous at the time that the minor king they used to visit that place, and for to visit this palace they need a special permission from the king of Mary. And even according to some sources, the daily list revealed that the huge quantities of food was cooked at that time. It means most probably the king just ate in the company of many people. And even if we just notice the map of that map, we will see that there is only one entrance on the north, and the large open courtyards were beautifully paved. And the king would have received foreign dignitaries and his own people in a room with wall paintings that would have awed the visitor. As you know बेटा, whenever जो भी आपका guest room होता है या visitor room होता है, it is always well decorated, right? And this magnificent palace it had 260 rooms and covered an area of 2.4 hectares. So we can imagine about this magnificency of this palace, right? And even beta, as we know that king of Mary he had to be very vigilant because his kingdom it was because he allowed the different pastoral tribes or herders tribes to move in the kingdom, but they were supervised, they were watched constantly by the army people. And even whatever literary sources are found, so in those sources in those official letters also the camps of herder are mentioned frequently. And even in one letter it is also mentioned that the fire signals are seen at the night, or it means there can be chances of any attack or raid. So, and as you know that it Mary this place it was just near to the river Euphrates. It is at the upper course of river Euphrates. So, and Euphrates it was in a prime position for trade. And better, do you know in which commodities the trade was done? It was in wood, copper, tin, oil, wine, and various other goods that were carried in boats along the Euphrates between the south and the mineral rich uplands of Turkey, Syria, and Lebanon. And Mary is a good example of an urban center prospering on trade. But Mary, it gained its prosperity just because of trade. And even boats carrying grinding stones, wood and wine, and oil jars, they would stop at Mary on their way, and the officers of the Mary town, they visited that place and they just collected the tax that was equal to the 1/10 of the value of the goods that was carried in the boats. So this way, by these taxes also, Mary became prosperous. And even barley, it came in special grain boats, and most important, the copper tablets. Beta, the copper tablets they were also sent through this water transport, and these copper tablets, these were transported from Alasia, and Alasia, it was the island of Cyprus, and at that time copper was a very important item of trade, as bronze was the main industrial material for making tools and weapons. And even if we till now we have read about Mari, the kingdom of Vari was not military strong, but just because of trade it was exceptionally prosperous. So beta, this was the topic about the a trading town in a pastoral zone. It means this area, Mary, actually it lied in the pastoral zone, but it became a trading town. Now beta, the next topic, that is about the cities in Mesopotamian culture. That which type of cities were there in Mesopotamian culture. So here beta, like Mesopotamians, they valued city life in which people of many communities and culture, they lived side by side. It means in Mesopotamians they didn't follow the caste system. But when these Mesopotamian cities were destroyed in war, they recalled them in poetry, and beta, there one poetry is given, and at the end of Gilgamesh Epic, the name of that epic is Gilgamesh Epic. In that, this about Enmerkar, the ruler of Uruk, is given, and he was a great hero, but he was in a shock when his friend died. So when his friend died, he just went just to find out the secret of immortality. So he crossed the water that surround the world, but in this attempt he failed, and then he just consoled himself by walking along the walls. And after that he admired the foundation made up of fired bricks, and even that Gilgamesh doesn't say that even though he will die, his sons will outlive him, as a tribal hero would have done. He takes consolation in the city that his people had built. So beta, this story, what you come to know after this story, it means that through this story they are just informing about the structure of cities also, that there were baked bricks, palaces were there, walls were there, and they were aware about the sea routes. So all these things they have also mentioned through this poetry, right? Now beta, the next very important topic, this is the legacy of writing. As you know, the writing skills, these were developed in Mesopotamia, right? And we are well aware beta, if any of the thing, any of the tradition, any of the culture, if it is transmitted orally, it will just after few time it will just change its meaning. But whenever it is written, then it will just create a wonder. Like science requires written text that generations of scholars can read and they build upon. And do you know beta what happened in Mesopotamia? Beta, the scholars, जो भी वहाँ के students थे, they just continuously they were reading the tablets, whatever has been invented or written by their predecessors. And even the greatest legacy of Mesopotamia to the world is the time reckoning, the counting of time, like these days and nights, hours, seconds, and mathematics. And even the clay tablets, those are found around dating around 1800 BC. But in that also there are found the sign of multiplication and division, and even the square root tables. And do you know that their calculation was so accurate? Like now we are finding out the square root of 2, it was 99.9% same as the Mesopotamians found. And even after that there were some mathematical sums were also found, like we are just finding out of area and volume. So one statement sum was found over there, that find a field of area such is covered 1 finger deep in water and find the volume of water also. So this way, so many means at that time also they were so much aware about the mathematics and area. And with that, the division of the year into 12 months according to the revolution of the moon around the earth, and then the division of the month into 4 weeks, the day into 24 hours, and the hour into 60 minutes. All that we take for granted in our daily lives has come to us from Mesopotamians. So all these divisions of time and days, those are those are invented by Mesopotamians. And these time divisions, they were adopted by the successor of Alexander, and from there these were transmitted to Roman world, and then to the world of Islam, and then all over the medieval Europe. So even some clues are there that there are some records of the lunar and solar eclipse also. And as we know that lunar and solar eclipse, these are also based on the year, month and day. So it means these Mesopotamians, they were very much keen and or they were well aware about the astronomy also, like they observed the position of stars and constellation in the night sky. So this way beta, Mesopotamian students, they just copied the earlier written tablets, and even some boys, they were trained to become not record keepers, but they were really intellectual who could build on the work of their predecessors. So this was about this chapter beta. Hope all of you have understood the topic. Thank you and have a nice day.